Hi crocheters of the world, I'm Wana and this is my crochet YouTube channel. In this tutorial we will work together on this beautiful pattern stitch, very airy, very summer and lacy. It's from my point of view, I think it's very nice and delicate and can be used to make so many beautiful things, beautiful summer projects. Now let us begin. So to begin this stitch pattern, we need a multiple of 20 plus 2 chains, which means 20, 20, 20 for how many, I don't know, for the length that we want for our project, depends on what we want to do, plus 2 more chains at the end. Now I put the graphic on because it's a graphic that I found on the internet, and you know, when you find a graphic on the internet, not very, in most of the cases, they are not very clear actually. And this has one problem. So for the last round, okay, the first row of the repeating sequence was a little bit strange, but I just understand it, and now I can explain it to you well enough to yes, to understand it actually. But there is the graphic, so I let you the link below this tutorial. You can just go on and see the graphic too. Now I said multiple of 20 plus 2, so I have here 40 chains plus 2, so 42 chains. Now for the very first row will be a, let's say, preliminary row, so it's not into the pattern, okay, it's the row number 0 let us call it like this, and will be a single crochet row just to give us a foundation for the rest of the pattern. So into the second chain from the hook, just insert your hook and work 1 single crochet, and now just continue on and work this preliminary row with single crochets. Now from the next row we will actually work the pattern, the first row of the pattern. So at the end of this row I will end up with 41 single crochets. So I finished my preliminary row, and now we just begin with the first row of the pattern. Okay, for the first row of the pattern we chain 1 and turn and work over the first 5 single crochets, 5 single crochets. So in each of these 5 single crochet we work 1 single crochet for a total of 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, now we want to chain 4, yarn over twice, 3 times, so yarn over 3 times, skip 5 single crochets of the preliminary row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th, insert your hook and work your first stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and don't finish it. Yarn over 3rd time, 3 times, insert the hook into the same single crochet and work the same thing. Don't finish the stitch because we will work a cluster shell. This is the second, 1, 2, 3 times around the hook, insert the hook into the single crochet, yarn over and pull through 2 once, yarn over, pull through 2 twice, yarn over, pull through 2 3 times, so only 3 times, leave the loops on the hook. Now we have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 and chain 1 to secure. This is our first cluster of 3 that we have to make to compose the shell. Now chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over 3 times, insert the hook into the same single crochet and work your second cluster. Exactly the same, of course. 1, 2, 3 times, wrap the yarn 3 times, and yarn over, pull through all, and chain 1 to secure. Second cluster made. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and into the same single crochet we will work the last cluster of our first shell. 3 times. This is my second. 1, 2, 3, and this is my third. So always 3. 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all, and chain 1 to secure. Okay, now this is my first shell, and now I want to chain 4 again, skip 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 6th insert your hook and work a single crochet. Work 8 more single crochets into the next 8 single crochets of the preliminary row for a total of 9 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And with the very first one we must have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, perfect. Now work the same thing, so chain 4 the cluster and chain 4 and 5 single crochet to finish the row. So actually we just have to repeat the same thing that we did here. On the contrary, so now we begin with the chain 4, we will work the shell and then chain 4 and into the last 5 single crochets, 5 single crochets. Now I finished the first row of the repeating sequence. We will have a total of 8 rows that we will repeat for the length that we need. Now this is the very first and I finished it. Let's go and work the second one. Chain 1 and turn, work your first 4 single crochets. 2, 3, and 4. You know we have 5 and we will skip the last one. So skip the last one, insert the hook into the first chain 4 and work 2 single crochets, chain 3 picot into the last single crochet with the slip stitch, close the picot and work 2 more single crochets. Skip the first cluster and work into the next chain 4 space the same thing that you work into the first. So 2 single crochets, chain 3 picot and 2 more single crochets. Into the middle cluster, so this one, the second one, insert the hook into the secure chain and work a single crochet. Now skip into the next chain 4 space and work 2 single crochets, chain 3 for the picot and 2 more single crochets, 1 and 2. Okay, now skip into the last chain 4 space and work exactly the same thing. So 2 single crochets, chain 3 for the picot into the last single crochet, insert the hook and slip stitch to join the picot, 2 more single crochets, 1 and 2. Okay, now I just want to show you what we have and to explain a thing here. So we actually began with a half of this motif, central motif, with 9 single crochets. So we work 5 and 5. Of course we cannot work 4 and 5, so we have to work the same number. Okay, and now here into the second row we worked 4 and we finished with 4. So in the middle we will work 7. Okay, that's why I just want to stop and to explain this part. Okay, now skip the very first single crochet of the 9 single crochets here in the middle, work 7 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And of course you will skip the last one too, and you will repeat the same thing that you worked here on the contrary. So 2 single crochets, picot, 2 single crochets into the first, second, then into the middle you work the single crochet on the top of the cluster, and again the same thing, 2 single crochets, picot, 2 single crochets, and 2 single crochets, picot, 2 single crochets. You will skip the first single crochets of the 5 and you will work the last 4. And this is the second row. Of course you will work this part for the rest of the length of the row, and you will finish with this part, actually the end of the row, if you have more than 40, of course, chains. I finished my second row, and now let us begin our third row. Into the third row we will work triple crochets and chain 6. Now the clusters are worked as you saw with the double triple, and now we will work only triple. So let us begin with a chain of 4 for the first triple crochet and turn, yarn over twice, only twice for the triple crochet, and skip the very first single crochet because actually here we just worked our first stitch, is the chain of 4, and we will skip the second and into the third, insert the hook and work the next triple crochet. And actually they are worked together, so we will work together 2 triple crochets at the end. Okay, now as I said, chain 6, 4, 5, 6, yarn over twice, skip exactly in between the very 2 arches. So this is my first and this is my second, so actually on the top of the first cluster. Insert the hook in between the 2 single crochets here, so actually in between them, in between the last of the first arch and the first of the second arch. So not into the single crochet but in between, and work your triple crochet. Now chain 6, 4, 5, 6, yarn over twice, and here we worked 1 single crochet on the top of the cluster, so insert the hook into that single crochet and work your triple crochet, and of course chain 6, 4, 5, 6, yarn over twice, and exactly the same thing, insert the hook in between the 2 arches here, so in between actually the stitches, not into it, into them, and work your triple crochet. And we finish with our triple crochet on the top of our shell. So actually we have 1, 2, 3, and this is on the half of the central pattern here, and we work 2 together. Okay, now chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yarn over twice and skip the very first single crochet into the next, work the triple crochet but don't finish it, so leave the last loop on the hook. We have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over twice, insert the hook into the second to last of our 7 single crochets and work your second triple crochet. Don't finish it, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all. Now repeat the same thing to the end of your row. So actually these on the arches. Don't forget to chain 6 in between each of your triple crochet. Triple crochet. Okay. Okay, finish the row with a chain of 6, of course, yarn over twice, and here we have 4 1, 2, 3, 4. Now skip the first, insert the hook into the next, and work your triple crochet, but don't finish it. Yarn over twice, insert the hook into the last single crochet, work it triple crochet, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And this is what we have so far. Now we will work the row number 4. And actually the row number 4 is the easiest, because we will work a single crochet on the top of each triple crochet of the previous round. Here of course we have 1 triple crochet, so we work 2 together, so it's 1 stitch, so 1 single crochet. Into the chain 6, each of our chain 6, we will work 6 single crochets. So this is really easy. Yarn over chain 1, sorry, insert the hook and work your first single crochet on the top of these 2 triple crochets work together. Now, as I said, around the chain 6 we work 3, 4, 5 and 6 single crochets. On the top of the triple crochet work 1 single crochet, and just continue on like this for all this row. So I finished the 4th round too. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. And now with the 5th row we will change a little bit. So actually what we will change, that's why first I told you about these and these. Now we will work this motif entire, all the row, the 2 rows actually for the motif. Okay, and we'll be here on the top of our clusters, and we will work a cluster in half. So 1 part at the beginning of the row and 1 part at the end of the row. Okay, and this is actually the thing that will change in the next 4 rows of the repeating sequence. So let us begin with the 5th row. Now I want to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my first double triple, yarn over 3 times, and into the same single crochet work 1 more double triple. And this is my first actually half cluster. Now I will work 1 more cluster for the shell, for the half shell. So chain 4, as normally we did before, yarn over 3 times, and into the same single crochet just work 1 more cluster, but this time with 3 double triple. Into the same single crochet all, of course, because it's a half of our shell cluster. Yarn over, pull through all and chain 1 to secure. Okay, now chain 4, and what's next? We will work, as I said, on the top of this the entire motif, so 9 single crochets in this way. We will skip totally the very first arch, and from the next arch we will skip only 2 single crochets, and we will insert the hook into the 3rd. From here we will work our 9 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is right on the top of this, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And now here on the top of these 2, so on the single crochet worked on the top of these 2 triple crochets, we will work our entire cluster. So into this second section of the repeating sequence we will have less 1 cluster of the first sequence Okay, so now I have here 2 clusters. You may have 10 or I don't know how many, and you'll have less one because the one will be worked, so is worked actually in half on the beginning of the row and half of the end of the row. Okay, so I will work just one cluster because I have 2, so less one, it's just 1. So here I will work my cluster, exactly the same thing. So 4, yarn over 3 times, insert the hook here into this single crochet, and 1, 2, 3, this is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. Okay, now this is my first cluster of 3 for my shell. I will work all of them and then I will continue on repeating the same thing that I did here, I will do here. Finished the cluster, and now I just want to show you one more time how to work, where to begin to work your 9 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we skip the first arch, and into the next we skip the first 2 single crochets. So we don't count this one on the top of the triple crochet, only the first one of the arch, of the second arch. So 1, 2, and into the third, insert the hook and work your 9 single crochets, 3, 4, and 5, which must be on the top of this triple crochet, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and now chain 4 again, 1, 2, 3, and now let us work our last half shell cluster. So into the last single crochet, work your first entire cluster, so with 3 double triple crochets, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and now work only 2 double triple crochets for the last cluster. Okay, and chain 1 to secure. Okay, now this is what we have at the end of the 5th row. Okay, into the 6th row we will repeat exactly the same thing as we did into the 2nd row, only that we have the clusters and the 9 single crochet motif a little bit in other positions. So chain 1, actually I chained 1, and turn your work. Work on the top of your cluster 1 single crochet, and now work into the chain 4 exactly the same thing. So 2 single crochets, chain 3 for the picot, close your picot, and 2 more single crochets, 1, 2. Now because this is actually the middle one, work in single crochet here, and now into the next chain 4, work 2 single crochets, chain 3, close the picot, and 2 more single crochets, 1 and 2. Now skip the very first single crochet of the 9 single crochets, work 7 single crochets, so you will skip the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, so you will skip the last one, 2. And now just repeat exactly as you did on your cluster on the 2nd row. So chain, single crochet twice and picot, then 2 more single crochets, skip into the next chain 4 space, single crochet twice and picot, and 2 more single crochets. On the cluster here in the middle you work a single crochet and you continue on and repeat the same thing. Okay, I finished my 6th row, and now the 7th row is more or less the same with the 3rd row. So it's the row with the triple crochets. Only that we will work like this. Of course, that we have here. So actually the two together, we will work them here and here, okay? Because here we have only one entire motif, and we worked 2 together at the beginning and 2 together at the end. Now let me show you. So we begin with a chain of 4 for the first triple crochet and chain 6 more for the first chain 6 space. So this means that we have a chain of 10 in total. Now yarn over twice and insert the hook in between the 2 arches into the single crochet, work 1 triple crochet, chain 6, yarn over twice, and now the same thing, we just skip the first single crochet of the 7 into the next, work a triple crochet, don't finish it, yarn over twice, and into the second to last, so 6th actually of the 7 single crochets, work 1 more, yarn over, pull through all. We work the 2 together, chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, yarn over twice, and in between the 2 arches, actually here in between of them, not into the single crochet but in between, work 1 triple crochet. Okay, chain 6. Now yarn over twice, and here on the top of the here, work on the top of the second cluster of the entire shell, work 1, oops, I don't know what I have here, 1, 2, work 1 triple crochet, chain 6 again, yarn over twice, and in between the 2 arches, actually in between them, work 1 triple crochet. Now we just worked 3 triple crochet, and on the half of our shell cluster we worked 2, only 2. Okay, now again chain 6, yarn over twice, and we are again on the 7 single crochets. So we skip the first, we insert the hook into the next, and we work a triple crochet and we don't finish it. Yarn over twice into the second to last, work another triple crochet, don't finish it, yarn over, pull through all. So we work them together. And now chain 6, 4, 5, 6, yarn over twice, and in between here, work actually into the single crochet, work 1 triple crochet in between the 2 arches. 3, 4, 5, 6, yarn over twice, and of course into the last single crochet, work 1 triple crochet. And this is what we have. Now that we finished this 7th row, we just have to work our last row for the repeating section, and then I will just show you the 9th row, because as I said, it's a little bit not exactly the same thing as the first row of the repeating sequence. Now for the 8th row, we work exactly the same that we worked for the 4th row. So we chain 1 and we turn, and we work single crochet on the top of each of our triple crochet, and 6 single crochets into each of our chain 6 space, 3, 4, 5, and 6. On the top of the triple crochet, work 1 single crochet, Okay, now continue on like this for the last row of the repeating section. I almost finished the 8th row. I just want to show you how to finish. You know that the 7th row we began it with 10 chains. The chain 4 was for the first triple crochet and the chain 6 for the first chain 6 space. And now we just want to work 6 single crochets, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And now on the top of the chain 4, so this means that on the 4th chain, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, we just want to work 1 single crochet. Okay, and now we finish actually the sequence to repeat, so the 8th row, 8 rows. But I said I just want to show you how to begin actually the next section, and that will be all. Now chain 1 and begin exactly as the first row with a 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And into the first row you just count 6, 5, and into the 6th single crochet you work the cluster. Now you don't have to count anything. You just see here we have the cluster, so we will put a cluster here on the top of these two together. So where we work the single crochet for these two together, okay? So as you can see here we put the cluster actually on the top of this. So it's this thing that you have to follow from now on. So chain 4, yarn over 3 times, and insert the hook into the single crochet on the top of these 2 double crochets, triple crochets work together. And just go on and work your clusters for the shell, and the rest of it is exactly the same. Okay, it's just this thing that I want to show you, and now I will show you the where to work the 9 single crochets. Exactly the same thing that we did here, but just let me finish the cluster, shell cluster, and we show you that aspect too. So I finished the cluster, and now to work my 9 single crochet I just have to skip this one and the first 2 single crochets of the second arch. So it's here actually that I will work my 4, then my 5th here in the middle, and 4 more for a total of 9 single crochets. Okay, so skip the first arch and the first 2 stitches for single crochets of the chains of the 6 single crochets of the second arch. So 1, 2, insert the hook into the next and work 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now on the top of this we will work the 5th and then 4 more. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now you have all the details to repeat this pattern stitch. It's really easy actually. I hope I was clear enough to for you to understand the stitch, because it's so beautiful. I found it, I don't know, very beautiful and delicate. Okay, so this is it. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe for more others. Bye bye.